Welcome to enVisioning Success, the weekly podcast where Laura DiBenedetto and Julia Becker Collins share tips, suggestions, and stories to help you succeed in business. In today's episode, we tackle the difficulties of delegation and discuss the importance of hiring for character traits rather than just technical skills. Highlighting team trust, we will help you effectively delegate tasks. And here is Laura and Julia.
Howdy. Welcoming you to enVisioning Success. Starting at the top of the episode with me getting the abadabbas. Good times.
Another Thursday afternoon in the recording box.
Why do we do this to ourselves? But guess what? This means that our shows are more punchy, more fun, and hilarious. So I'm really excited about this episode because we'll be talking about delegation. We were figuring out and hanging out with ChatGPT to figure out what we should be including. We both learned the word delegable is a thing. And here we are, DELEGABLE, delegable. Go forth, play Scrabble, kick some butt. So this is a really important subject. So one of the things that happens with me and Julia is we end up working with business owners who have yet to learn how to delegate and let stuff go. It's not just delegating to us. I mean, yes, you should do that, or whoever you work with for your marketing, but you actually need to learn to delegate to your team because the buck can't stop with you on everything. There's just one of you, man. So this episode is all about helping you lovingly get out of your own way. We talked in the last bunch of episodes about firing yourself. We're going to lean harder into that today. Yes, it has to do with marketing. So, sit tight. We've got all the 5 juicy nuggets for you. But it's more of a philosophical conversation. Julia pitched me the idea before we hit record here about having a drunk marketing episode. And I'm here for that, except we're both sober right now. And I apologize.
Sorry in advance.
Yeah. Don't worry. We'll still be stupid.
Well, that's the joy of recording on a Thursday afternoon is we're both punch drunk.
Listen, all 8 of our listeners, we appreciate you.
I think we're up to 12. I think
what?
That's wild. Crazy.
Whatever. I love it. So, you know what? Just a little housekeeping. The show is lovingly sponsored by Vision. We're celebrating 25 years of kicking ass and taking names with marketing. We take the pain out of marketing. We seem to be the PTSD recovery center for battered and abused business owners. We actually help you to figure it out correctly, how to get it right the first time and stop making it hard, which is why we're talking about delegation today. So go to vision-advertising.com when you're ready to get out of your own way and start making money. Did I miss anything?
No. I mean, I love to talk about delegating. So that's exciting.
Well, listen, we're both excited about being fired. Most people are like, I don't want to get fired. We want to get fired. You want to get fired. You just don't know that yet. So at the end of this episode, hopefully you're convinced. So, we've got the 5 tips. Because we were toying with the idea of drunk marketing, it just means we want to make the show more fun for you, more fun for us. So we've got the 5 tips. We're going to try to make this a little less academic, more fun. Julia, maybe you need that whiskey on your desk. I'm just saying.
Probably. I mean, I do have a funny mug today.
What does it say?
Welcome to the shit show.
Shit show. Nice.
Right.
No, I appreciate that the mug has forced us to put an A rating on our podcast.
I'm fine with that. I feel
like
okay
the
about that.
Mug with the handle.
I'm
just going to leave that one there. So, let's kick this out by just talking about some of the things about delegation. So just business owner to business owner. If you're listening to the show, you're probably a business owner, or at least aspire to be. Let's just have an honest moment here. Delegation is like wicked hard, right? Hi, that's my Massachusetts coming through. It's wicked hard.
Oh my God.
Yep. People can tell that I'm from Massachusetts.
Really?
Only when I say wicked hard or anything along those lines. But delegation is, yes, wicked hard because it's one of those things where you have to trust people to do something for you that you know damn well that you can do probably better. And you need to actually have a certain level of acceptance around this will not be done the way that I specifically would do it precisely.
Yep. I had a conversation recently with a colleague who owns her own business. She's in a networking group that I'm in, and she was asking me about delegating because she thinks I'm really good at it, which thanks. But it's just her and then an assistant. And she was like, well, I can't grow more because there's only so many hours in the day, and da da da. And I was like, yes, that's why you have to learn to give up control. You need to delegate. You need to grow because, there's only 24 hours in the day for everybody. So if you are a business of one person, then there's only so much time where you can work. And if you don't delegate and you don't grow and you don't build out the capacity, then there's no room for growth in the company.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is there's actually no room for joy or health in your life because a lot of people say they own a business, but they actually own a job.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, they don't even own it. It owns them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm
It's
not
like the difference
interested.
between working in your business and on your business.
Yeah. I mean, I'd rather spend my time working on the business. In it, yeah, it has its moments where it's fun, but the thing is, that's the stuff that can really slow you down. Fundamentally, I think that people they're afraid to let go, and I remember actually being afraid to let go. So I'm excited to be able to offer some insight here. And you can do the same because, at one point I didn't know how to delegate. Now I do. And at one point I was afraid to delegate. Now I'm like, delegate everything, which I may have overcorrected. I think it's important that you actually learn to let go and also kind of just let things be what they are. I think
Mm-hmm.
part of this, I mean, Julia, you'll have to tell me what you think on this one, but I feel like part of it is just trusting yourself that you'll be able to unscramble the egg if something goes horribly wrong.
Yeah, I would agree with that, but I would also say that, the people that you've hired are smart, capable people, and that you need to trust the people that you've hired to do the job that you're telling them to do.
Mm-hmm. I think part of it is, and you and I have talked about this, hiring for skills is lovely, but we tend to hire for more like characteristics and traits, things that you can't teach. Like, for example, I can't teach you integrity. Either you have it or you don't. I can't teach you creativity. Either you have it or you don't. There's probably a number of things that you can't teach that are just inherent characteristics, like honesty or, I don't know, creativity is one that I said. What's another one? I mean, you do more of the direct hiring than I do, but I think communication skills and the ability to like effectively convey your ideas verbally or even like successfully analyze a problem and understand it. Like, I feel like those are things you either just can do or you can't do.
Yeah, I would
What do you think?
add to that things like, owning up to your mistakes, being able to take constructive criticism, being able to give constructive and positive feedback.
Yeah.
The ability to meet people where they are, not where you want them to be. The interest in growing in your career and learning new things, being excited about different kinds of
That's
work.
a big one, actually. There's a lot of people that are like, nope, I don't want to grow. Ugh. That's
Which
not a
that's fine, but just not here. That's not going to work out here.
you please go work for someone else's company that
Right.
doesn't know that that's necessary. But that's not what we're here for. Like, apathy doesn't work. Yeah, I mean, those are some really good thoughts. I feel like it's one of those things where if you start hiring for character traits, the skills you can teach, because you'll have people that can actually acquire those skills enthusiastically, like even on their own. Like, I was chatting with a young man today who's in Jacksonville, Florida with me, and he'd really like to work for me. And I'm like, that's cool. And I see his potential because I see that he shows up consistently to work all the time without being asked. He shows up early all the time. He always swings for the fences, and he's almost got more accountability than leadership has where he is currently. It's just like, okay, so you have the right character traits. And in my humble opinion, I don't think this young man is being properly leveraged in the role that he's in. So he would actually do well if I had a spot for him right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Nice.
I could probably throw any sort of like oddball task at him because he has one of those unique talents, and definitely hire for this one. The ability to figure anything out. That's something I really appreciate, and I think that's one thing that I have, Julia, that you have, that some of the folks on our team have is, here's a problem. Now what? That's
Right.
a
Or
really big thing.
identifying problems, solving problems, not needing to be led and have your hand held the whole way. We have a young woman on our team now who's really great at that. And then she knows when to kind of raise her hand and be like, okay, I have taken this as far as I can. I now need support. She has a great balance between the two.
Yeah, and even knowing when to ask for help, that's huge. Again, these all point back to like character traits. And I think, ownership is a character trait, someone who's like willing to take ownership in any relationship they're in.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So, as always, we do have our 5 actionable tips. The first one, here's that fancy word that you get to use in Scrabble. You need to identify your delegable tasks. Delegable.
This
That
is how
does
you can
not
tell
roll
that
off the
Laura and I are
tongue.
huge nerds, because when we started working on the outline for this episode, I was so excited to learn a new word.
Oh, I was too. I was like, ooh, delegable. And then like we Googled it and we had a minute. Yeah.
I was like, this is
Nerd,
great. I love learning new words. I'm such a nerd.
I know you are a nerd, but you're my co-nerd and I really appreciate that.
Thanks.
No problem. So, I'm going to say it again, identify delegable tasks. So, figure out what you can hand off. Maybe you haven't even hired these people yet, but just figure out what you can hand off and then focus on their character traits and strengths and areas of expertise, and then let go. I mean, I remember when I first created my very first job for someone else. What a wild ride. Holy crap. But I did not know what I was doing. I got lucky. It occurred to me afterwards that I definitely got lucky, but there was something about her that I understood, and it was my intuition telling me she's a good one. Even if my own brain didn't necessarily know you can trust her to do these things, I just had a sixth sense about her. And you know what? You might want to employ your own. I think largely society discourages us from leveraging our intuition. And I think that's really stupid. Not to put too fine of a point on it, but poop.
Well, this is like, I think in a previous episode we talked about making decisions with your head versus your heart. And this is more of a like, you need to use your head, but then also use your gut.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. What's the second one? And you're not allowed to read it like an academic nerd.
Okay, well, I appreciate that you think I am an academic nerd or could be an academic nerd.
Aspirational goals.
I'm here for it, man. So to set clear expectations is a really important part of delegating, ensuring that each team member understands their responsibilities. Like we were talking about, you've identified the tasks. Now we need to set expectations on those tasks, the standards that need to be met. At Vision, we talk a lot about reaching for the highest standard, always meeting that high standard, not compromising our high standards, etc. Right. And part of delegating tasks and delegating work is to not only know what you're delegating, like Laura was mentioning before, but set the very clear expectation of the standard that needs to be met for that task, so that while it might not be done the same way you do it, which is okay, let's all hold hands and agree. It's okay that's not done the exact same way you do it. It is done to a standard that you have set.
Yeah. No, I like that. I think that was probably one of the first things that I had to learn when letting things go to the first people I hired. And then even when I brought you on for a lot of the higher end tasks that you do and things that you're responsible for, I had to let go and just understand, well, different isn't bad.
Correct.
The outcome was the standard, and it's like, this is the outcome we need. I would go at it by this route. It's okay if you go at it that route. So if you make it really clear what the outcome should be and don't get attached to the how, unless it's critical and you're doing surgery, maybe get attached to the how at that point. Kind of important detail. Just don't get hung up on that stuff, man. You really got to psychologically let go of what the outcome should be. And if you need to get granular and specific about many different types of outcomes that are attached to a specific thing. Okay. So for example, let's say we have a problem. One of our clients is pissed off for whatever reason, right? It happens from time to time. Sometimes there's misunderstandings. Sometimes, something just goes awry because, hi, we're human, right? It happens in every business. So as the business leader, right? My clear expectation that I have set to Julia and everybody who reports to her is the outcome is a happy client who is making a ton of money.
Mm-hmm.
Go make it happen. I don't really care about how. Sometimes we need to, if we screwed up, we need to provide something to properly apologize and own it. Sometimes it's just a correction. Sometimes there was no reason to be pissed off. It was just a misunderstanding. So there's multiple ways to come at something, but the outcome for me is happy client making money. Great. Cool.
Right. It's like I say to the staff, I don't care about the journey. I care about the destination. And what I mean by that is you can get there your own way as long as we all meet at the same place.
Hell yeah. I'm here for it. All right. So number 3 is providing necessary tools and training. Part of the whole letting go thing is not just shoving someone off the diving board and hoping they can swim and figure it out. Although I've done that, poor Julia. She got kicked into the deep end a few times. Hope you can figure it out. Gotta go.
It was great.
I know. Don't do what I did. I have provided a ton of tools and training, but there's also times when you just can't. That's just the truth, right? And if you have someone who's got good character, like Julia has really good character, yay! You can actually trust someone to punt and figure it out. But for the most part, please, whenever possible, provide the necessary tools and training. Spend the time with them. Let them shadow you. I'm actually I'm helping one of our clients to hire a really, really important role. That's a brand new role in their company that they've never had before. And this person is going to be responsible for, unfortunately, managing up because the business owner is not accustomed to providing lots and lots of hands-on tools and training. So one of the things they were looking for was someone who has a naturally inquisitive, accountability-oriented character to kind of offset that. So if you know that you're really crappy at tools and training, maybe hire to complement your weaknesses. So there's kind of multiple ways to look at this, but ultimately that person needs to be successful in their role, and you're on the hook for hiring correctly, training correctly, and making sure that you get someone who can actually deal with you. Julia can deal with me. That's why I hired her.
Well, it's so true. It's like I'm laughing about it, but it's incredibly true. It's like either you, as the kids say, vibe with it or whatever.
That's what the kids say these days.
I guess. I don't know. I'm officially old. I've given up. I know. So either you can, you feel good with the way things are established, you like the person, you like their leadership style, or you don't. And it's okay if you don't, but that just means that you're not a good fit. So one of the things I look for when I hire is, are you going to receive my leadership well? Do you enjoy the type of leadership I provide? It's okay if you don't, but then if you don't, then it's not going to work out.
We used to joke that we needed to build a team of people that worshiped at the Church of Julia. And it's true. I mean, it's a joke, right? There is no Church of Julia. So no tithing is necessary. But if you feel so inclined, I'll send you a self-addressed stamped envelope with my home address. But yeah, I mean, you need people that that can vibe with you and that can take you the way you are and receive leadership from you and all of that stuff. I mean, I think Julia, you and I got really lucky because there's, good vibe here, really good chemistry. You can put up with me, I can put up with you, and it's a really good thing. So when we're both at our worst, it still works. But when our best, boy, does it really work, right? So that's important. And I mean, especially after all these years, we've definitely had the best of times, we've had the worst of times, and you've passed the test. You're stuck with me.
Oh, good. It only took 8 years.
No, you were stuck with me long before. I just didn't tell you.
Oh, yay.
I want to keep you on your toes, man. Well, speaking of really amazing shit, what's number 4?
Number 4 is to establish feedback loops. Create regular check-ins and feedback loops to monitor progress. Check-ins are so important, whether you're looking at designated benchmarks that are set in advance or just checking in to see how things are going. Because while you have delegated, you still need to spot check and make sure things are going well and that they have the support that they need. You can answer questions, concerns, adjust responsibilities as they need it. But it's not set it and forget it. You really should never be doing that with leadership in general.
Yeah, I completely agree. You might put tools, training, expectations, do all the things, and even hire the right person. But you may actually have mandated some sort of way of doing things that is completely stupid. And you actually need to have you need to have like a really open feedback loop to be able to receive that. Like, am I perfect? No, as much as I would like to think I am not. And there's been times where Julia's like, yeah, this isn't really working. We need to go with plan B. But why? Laura, we need to go with plan B. So the feedback loop must be open. It needs to be something where you have the maturity to be able to receive that. And honestly, the good connection between the two of you to be able to make it happen in a really good way.
I think so. We have either you froze or I froze.
Well, somebody froze, but it's been recording the whole time, so it's good. You were on
good. I'm glad technology decided to catch back up with us. Excellent.
You know what? People who don't watch this on video, I feel bad for you because you're missing out on all of our stupid shenanigans. And frankly, that's what makes the show fun. Because marketing can be a real snooze, and so can business and entrepreneurship. But I think, it in part of this whole delegation thing, the whole reason Julia and I have any relationship whatsoever is because I desperately needed someone to delegate to. And, it's created something great. And, so humor can be involved and frankly should be, because otherwise, why are you here?
Yep, 100%.
All right, so let me crack at the last one here. So you need to foster a culture of ownership. This does need to start with you. So as the business owner or the manager, whatever role you hold, it needs to start with you. You need to demonstrate ownership. I'll give you a great example. So one of the things that I recently empowered one of our team members to do was to take our content and take it from a less academic tone to something that is much more bold and vibrant and in your face and fun, because that's actually who we are as people. And now college, does not teach that writing style. So I was like, all right, so here's the deal. I am going to encourage ownership in you by way of, I am going to own this. If it goes bad and blows up in your face, I will own it. I will take the spikes in the back for you. You will not get in trouble. You will not get fired. Now go forth and be bold and crazy and do it. Push the needle as far as you can. But ownership is giving people freedom. It's also encouraging accountability. I mean, Julia, I feel like you are definitely going to be able to add to this. So I really want you to weigh in with the whole ownership thing.
Yeah. I have a real strong belief in giving people ownership over their roles, or, think about it like ownership over your own little fiefdom of responsibilities. Somebody else is definitely going to know better than me how to do something. I definitely never want to be the smartest person in a room. I want to hire people that are much smarter than me, have a better idea of how to do things, and they really want to take that ownership and do it the best way possible. And then the other part of that with ownership is then they're invested in the success rather than just feeling like they're checking a box. We have gotten not only lucky, but we have hired for people that have that sense of ownership and really care about not only our clients, but doing the work to the highest level because they have that sense of ownership and they really want to do what is expected and go above and beyond and do the best thing for the client and kind of all of those things. And then, not only having that culture of ownership, but then knowing that they have support with their direct manager who also feels a sense of ownership around the larger projects, the bigger stage things.
I agree. I think one of the things that's been probably really helpful, especially in the last couple of years, actually, for really watering that, little plant to help it grow and, get even bigger, is including people in some of the behind the scenes thinking and including people in the strategic choices that we're making and not just what we're doing, but why we're doing it. So that way they can really own it, but also like actually soliciting their opinion. Like, yes, this is what we're doing and why we're doing it, but like, how would you do this?
Mm-hmm.
And actually asking. I think that one of the mistakes that we make as business owners is we don't necessarily solicit as much input as we should. We think, well, it's my business, I'm in charge. You are, and the buck does stop with you, but why not have the buck stop with other people? Not only will they care more, they'll have more ownership, they'll actually be more excited, they're more likely to get like a really great outcome. And I think everybody wins more when everybody cares.
Great. I agree. As per usual. Yep.
All right, folks. The next episode is going to be talking about automation, which is another form of delegation. Don't miss that one. I hope you enjoyed this. If you didn't, I'm sorry to waste the last 25 minutes of your life. You can't get it back. But I'm guessing you thought it was fun, because I sure did. Be sure to rate, review, subscribe, share this episode with people, and also just the show in general. We're excited to have you here. Again, the show is for you. We've said this multiple times. Go to our website, vision-advertising.com. Go to the contact page and let us know what you want to learn about. We are excited to create content, especially for you. So on that lovely note, I will see you in the next episode. Peace.